Need a budget-friendly makeover idea? Let me show you how we upgraded this space using Beyond Paint for the floor and the walls. We started by removing all the baseboards and trim. Then we got to painting. It was finally time to say goodbye to the lime green. For this makeover, we're using Beyond Paint's black licorice paint. It is a true rich black paint, and the best part is, I don't need to prime the walls first. Beyond Paint is a primer, bonder, and finisher all in one, which is exactly what we needed to tackle this lime green. I used a 3/8 nap roller to coat the walls in licorice. This paint is slightly textured, making it perfect for hiding imperfections and filled nail holes. I'm amazed it only took 2 coats of Beyond Paint to completely cover the lime green. Before adding the trim work, we decided to go ahead and tackle the floors. I used a crud cutter to degrease the floor and remove any residue. Prepping the floor correctly is the main factor in getting the paint to bond correctly so that it won't chip. After it was sparkly clean, I rolled on the first layer of licorice paint. Be sure that the grout lines are also getting covered. I let the first layer dry overnight before applying the second coat of licorice. I'm already super impressed with how big of an improvement it is, but now it's time to add the pattern. You can purchase a stencil or make your own to create a fun shape. I made my own diamond stencil. Then I stuck my stencils onto the dry tiles and I used a sponge brush to dab the bright white paint over them. My best advice for stenciling is to make sure there's not too much paint on your brush and to use a dabbing motion for applying the paint. The bright white is the perfect contrast to the licorice paint. Make any touch-ups necessary with a small paintbrush. After 24 hours, I rolled on a light layer of the Beyond Paint sealer. This sealer self-levels and provides heat and water resistance. I also love that this sealer dries in a satin sheen. Now that the floor is all wrapped up, it's time to finish the trim work. We installed tall board and batten trim work because it makes the room look so much taller and also it's timeless. Once all the battens were installed, we sanded and caulked all of the trim work to make sure it was ready for paint. Where the board and batten stopped, I applied this charming vintage wallpaper to give it some extra texture and character. Once the wallpaper was completely installed, I used the same licorice paint to paint the board and batten, using a brush for all of the crevices and then a roller for all of the flat portions. Thanks to Beyond Paint, I didn't have to prime these boards either. Never doubt the power of paint. Can you believe we are able to do this entire half bathroom with just 3 quarts of Beyond Paint's licorice and just a handful of bright white? Thanks to Beyond Paint, you would never know that these walls used to be a hideous lime green. And I'm super impressed with the coverage it provided for the floor and the walls. That's a wrap on part 1 of this half bathroom makeover. Follow Southern Yankee DIY for part 2.